I feel like I'm saying this every other day now. But Carolyn Leavitt truly just gave the worst press briefing I have ever seen. Not only did she pull the usual stunts by attacking reporters, losing her temper, and going off on a racist rant, but she completely exposed Donald Trump with all of his medical problems by revealing the truth about his MRI, but also exposed the criminality of this administration admitting to their war crimes. We are going to get into this disaster and Levi's complete meltdown. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video. And if you haven't already, and you enjoy our channel, hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we get into those two shocking moments, we have to start with the question poking at the hypocrisy that is baked into this administration, asking about Donald Trump's latest pardon of the president of Honduras, and just the nonsense lies that this administration is trying to push about drug trafficking.
The former president of Honduras, who was a convicted drug trafficker. And yesterday on Air Force One, the president said that if someone sells drugs in that country, that doesn't mean you arrest the president and put him in jail for the rest of his life. How is that different than what the administration is accusing Venezuela's Nicolas Maduro?
You're cherry-picking the president's statement a little bit yesterday, as he also said yesterday the people of Honduras have highlighted to him how the former president Hernandez was set up. This was a clear Biden over prosecution. He was the president of this country. He was in the opposition party. He was opposed to the values of the previous administration, and they charged him because he was president of Honduras. There were some other egregious facts that came out during this trial, and I would encourage you to report on them. His court-appointed lawyer was only given 3 weeks to prepare for trial. He shared that his conviction was lawfare by the leftist party, who, quote, struck a deal with the Biden-Harris administration. Hernandez has highlighted there was virtually no independent evidence presented, and many of his conviction was based on testimony from many admitted criminals who hoped that cooperating would reduce their own penalties. So the president heard the concerns from many people, as he does, and he's, of course, within his constitutional authority to sign clemency.
So does Donald Trump seriously think that we will believe that he is both stopping drugs from coming into this country by indiscriminately bombing innocent fishermen on international waters? A crime. By the way, a war crime. And also convince us that pardoning an actual drug trafficker who killed Americans is fine? I don't know what they want us to believe. I don't know what this argument is. I don't know why Donald Trump chose now to go forward with this pardon. He just seems to not care, and he never will. But the corruption, the hypocrisy, it is all baked into this administration. And honestly, I think they're just going to be open about it at this point and try to win in the court of public opinion. But I can promise you, there will be actual accountability in a real court. Like send Pete Hegseth to the HH. But Pete Hegseth, I think it fits right into the name. He is a war criminal and deserves to be prosecuted. And so does Donald Trump for what Carolyn Leavitt literally just admitted.
The president said yesterday that Secretary Hegseth had denied that second strike, the reported second strike on an alleged drug vote on September 2nd, the secretary said to the president that didn't happen. But to clarify, I just wanted to clear this up. In his social media post, Secretary Hegseth didn't go into details about that strike. He just said U.S. operations in the area were lawful, and he said that the story and media reports were fabricated. So to be clear, does the administration deny that second strike happened, or did it happen and the administration denies that Secretary Hegseth gave the order?
The latter is true, Abe, and I have a statement to read for you here. President Trump and Secretary Hegseth have made it clear that presidentially designated narco-terrorist groups are subject to lethal targeting in accordance with the laws of war. With respect to the strikes in question on September 2nd, Secretary Hegseth authorized Admiral Bradley to conduct these kinetic strikes. Admiral Bradley worked well within his authority and the law, directing the engagement to ensure the boat was destroyed and the threat to the United States of America was eliminated. And I would would just add one more point to remind the American public why these lethal strikes are taking place. Because this administration has designated these narco-terrorists as foreign terrorist organizations. The president has a right to take them out if they are threatening the United States of America and if they are bringing illegal narcotics that are killing our citizens at a record rate, which is what they are doing. And under the previous administration, there was enough fentanyl trafficked into our country to kill every American man, woman, and child many times over.
They are being open about it. And honestly, I think that this has been part of the larger strategy of this administration. They think that if they just do crime in public, they can pretend that it's business as usual, or that the mainstream media will say it's Trump being Trump, rather than if they had uncovered it to recognize it for the scandal that this is. Donald Trump has broken the law countless times, but these are war crimes. The severity of the implications of what Donald Trump is doing is almost unimaginable. And it is the reason that last night he decided he wanted to create a little bit of separation between him and Pete Hegseth, where he said, well, I would not have ordered that second strike. And now Carolyn Leavitt has openly admitted to it. She's just letting us all know what is going on with inside this administration's criminality. And it is not the only thing that she decided to reveal today. Although I do not trust this report from Carolyn Leavitt, she decided that in the feeling of a transparency never comes out of this administration. She would just completely reveal what Donald Trump's MRI was supposedly about.
President Trump yesterday said that he would release the results of his MRI. Is that happening right now?
It is happening right now. As part of, and this is a summary from the president's physician, and we will release it right now. I think my team has it teed up for all of you. I'll read it for you, and then you'll get it physically as well. As part of President Trump's comprehensive executive physical, advanced imaging was performed because men in his age group benefit from a thorough evaluation of cardiovascular and abdominal health. The purpose of this imaging is preventative, to identify any issues early, confirm overall health, and ensure the president maintains long-term vitality and function. President Trump's cardiovascular imaging was perfectly normal. No evidence of arterial narrowing impairing blood flow or abnormalities in the heart or major vessels. The heart chambers are normal in size, the vessel walls appear smooth and healthy, and there are no signs of inflammation or clotting. Overall, his cardiovascular system shows excellent health. His abdominal imaging is also perfectly normal. All major organs appear very healthy and well perfused. Everything evaluated is functioning within normal limits with no acute or chronic concerns. In summary, this level of detailed assessment is standard for an executive physical at President Trump's age and confirms that he remains in excellent overall health. Again, we will provide that to you. I think that's quite a bit of detail, and in the effort of transparency, the president promised it last night, and we have delivered today. So there you go.
Now you notice how Carolyn Lewis said that was from Donald Trump's physician, that was from his doctor. Did not specify which doctor. I think that's important. Carolyn Leavitt did not say who oversaw this testing, who called for it. I think that there is still more information about this MRI that needs to come out. Why did the doctors decide to go forward with this, outside of the normal schedule of Donald Trump getting his checkup, getting everything looked at? They said it's because of his age. Are they thinking that he's deteriorating more rapidly for his age? This is the second annual checkup that he got, and much longer than the last one. And as we've been told by former White House doctors, this is some more advanced imagery that was being done at Walter Reed for a significant period of time. I don't think that we're getting the full scope here. And again, I wanna go back to what I started by saying, which is that we don't know what doctor this was. Was this Ronnie Jackson, Donald Trump's favorite guy who has lost his medical license? And it's just giving information out to Carolyn Lewis, selling a bill of goods that makes Trump sound like just a normal old man, not one in severe cognitive decline who should be nowhere near the nuclear codes, but just a normal older guy. That's what they want you to believe, that everything's fine, tip-top shape. Maybe we just a little check here and there. I don't think that's what's going on for Donald Trump to specify after being pressed on his MRI that it wasn't about his brain, and then to say, well, They gave me a cognitive test that doesn't really spring a lot of trust for me. When you immediately pivot into talking about how they then checked your cognitive state. But this is not a full report. Even the text won't be a full report. There will be lots of information that is held back. And do you know how I know this? Because if Carolyn Leavitt would have been fined so fine in the interest of transparency as she said to share this MRI, why didn't she do it in the beginning? Why wasn't it a part of this initial brief? Why was it left off? Why did Donald Trump had to blurt out about it for Carolyn Levin to bring attention? Carolyn Levin, even after Donald Trump blurted about it, was ill-prepared to respond to any questions about the MRI. So now that Donald Trump, in a moment of confusion, announced that he'd be fine with it, the White House is being forced to share. But how do we know that any of this is true? I don't think it makes us conspiratorial to ask. I'm just not sure. But what we can be sure about is that the White House will continue to focus on one thing, and that's the racist attacks which Leavitt carried out right here.
During your topper, you said, and I quote, "Leaders also have a duty to preserve the integrity and character of our nation's national identity." Can you explain what you mean by our nation's national identity and integrity and character, and how would refugees, people coming from war-torn places who are seeking a safe haven in America, like many of our forebears in this room, not add to our nation's integrity and character of our national identity?
I'll tell you what does not add to our nation's character and integrity is refugees who come here under the alleged plight of asylum and fleeing persecution and then come to the United States to abuse our system.
This was truly a horrific press conference. Not only because of the admissions and the slip UPS, but this is just truly disgusting stuff that we are going to continue to call out on the show every single day. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. If you stuck around at the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. Keep on fighting, y'all. Don't let him silence you until next time. I'll see you soon.